The Pokemon market is crashing, prices are dropping, collectors are panicking, and in some cases, investors are actually calling it quits.
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done.
Is this really just a doom and gloomy type of situation? Or is this really just the perfect scenario for you to go ahead and start buying into some of these dips? My name is Pokeball Chris. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We're here, we drop Pokemon related content weekly. And today we're gonna be figuring why it's happening, how it's happening, and how you can take advantage of the market today. So let's get straight into it. All right, guys, we're gonna go over some of the data points just to give you guys a complete understanding as to what's going on in the market today. It is currently Sunday, October 26th, 2:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of the making of this video. And we're just gonna go over some of the products within the market to kind of give you guys an understanding of what's going on. First and foremost, we have one of the most recent sets, which is Mega Evolutions, right? And its enhanced booster box version, right? Not just the regular booster box, we're talking about the enhanced one where it brings an exclusive Bulbasaur promo with the Mega Evolution stamped symbol on it. Now, of course, we're going to see the market price right now, which is at $273, but its all-time high being at $340, which of course was its pre-sales. This isn't more than a 6-month-old set, but of course, it has had a higher low of $318, which is a lot more recent, and ever since then, it has currently dropped down to that $273 mark. Now, what I kind of want you guys to understand is within this market, and what you're going to see a history of across the board with everything I'm going to show you guys today is that, for one, I want you guys to understand this is completely correct market behavior when it comes to any type of market, right? For the past couple of 6 months, and I have every single item posted at the 6-month range just to kind of give you guys an understanding, because this realistically has been going on for almost a year, right? Since probably like February, March of this year is where the big Pokemon boom has, kind of started its hype, and more people have kind of, gravitated toward this hobby. Is that a lot of people aren't aware that, yes, these are unnormal market conditions, but it is also the current state of the Pokemon hobby, right? We're not in the day and age of where booster boxes will hit $99, $100, $120, right? Those super, super low marks, which they have had in the past before they've risen in price. But there's just such a huge influx of people being put into the hobby that it has now caused things to have a higher level of MSRP. And now on top of that as well, we've had a higher level of market conditions where everything just seems to be in a upward pattern, right? A bullish market, obviously, right? We've been in a bullish market for such a long period of time that it has now become the standard of what should happen. And everyone's thinking, okay, if I buy this now, it should just go up within the next month, or it should go up within the next week, because that has been what's been happening as of recently. But now that these current market conditions are happening, which these are normal market conditions, it is then now deemed a market crash. So if we look at the higher low of 318, right, even at 318, this is a lot for a booster box coming out and being a, just a new set. $318 has now dropped down to 273. If you just do a little bit of math, right, and for something to really be deemed a crash, right, and we're talking about like way back when the Pokemon market actually crashed, when ETBs were going for about $20 each, $30 each, Targets and all these retail stores were unable to release these things. That's really a market crash in a sense. But something going from 318 to, and I did the quick math. I did 320. Obviously, I rounded up that 318, and then 85% of that is about 272. So we've only had about a 15% decrease in price compared to its previous higher low. So, and of course, I'm not counting the 354 because that was like pre-sales. Obviously, you're going to be selling things for higher than market if you're getting anything early. But a 15% markdown is pretty standard in any type of market fluctuation, right? And this is just, again, just with the Mega Evolutions booster box. We can go next to the next item right here, Surging Spark Elite Trainer box, right? We have, within the past 6 months, again, kind of like the beginning of the summer, the boxes have been at $113. Obviously, Pokemon has been doing a much better job, I guess, kind of answering the public's eye and, dishing out more product and, restocking and things of such. The Elite Trainer box, let's just go from the beginning of summer of 113. I'd say that's probably the highest of high. $113, right, times 0.8. Let's do 80%, right? So that's about a 20% markdown at $90. So 113 times 0.7. Okay, we're probably like 113 times 0.65, right? This is more so kind of like a crash, but still not even then. This is only about a 35% markdown from 113 all the way down to $71, $73, which is kind of like the current market right now, which is relatively close to retail because these elite trainer boxes are about $55, $60 depending on which market you're getting it from. You can actually more than likely even go on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, your local vending spots like card shows and things like that, and find elite trainer boxes like this for that $65, $70 range, where I honestly believe something like this is worth putting your money into when the big booty Pikachu is still such a sought out after card. And on top of that, again, you still have the Magneton, which is one of the promos, which is very loved because of the artist, right? Shinji Kondo, which we also have another card later down in the video that kind of lets you know like the exclusivity of this card, the exclusivity of this promo or per se is, yes, right now, and this is what I want you guys to understand is like when it comes to investing, you have to also understand your style of investing. If you're a long-term investor, which I feel like most people should be when it comes to this specific hobby, is right now people aren't loving Surging Sparks, right? Loving it because it's getting pumped out so much into the streets. But once Pokemon says, hey, we're done printing it, or we're not pushing out as much as we used to, then here we go, and now everyone's so much in love with it, right? Let's go to Surging Sparks booster boxes, right? This is one of the first crashes that we had within the market, and just recently, again, if we're looking in the past 6 months, this doesn't even have and it's not even an enhanced version. There's no enhanced version of the Surging Sparks promo and there's no promo card that comes with it. But just recently, at the beginning or more so end of September, right, it hit its high of $301. I don't even think in a year's worth of time since last year, at least from this month, it hasn't even touched anywhere near that. So again, we're kind of just seeing corrective market behavior from $300 to $250. Like what market price changes that? $300 times, I'm just doing 0.8. That's not even, again, that's not even a 20% markdown. So at 250, 220, 230, 240, whatever the case may be, or the price point that you can find the Surging Sparks booster box, I'd buy one at 250 if I could get my hands on one. I'd buy one at 240, 230, whatever the case may be, because again, this is a set that isn't gonna be in print for much longer. Obviously, it's still in print, but when that time cuts itself off, that's where a lot of these things start to, raise up in value. Like if you look back at Sword and Shield and things like that, Lost Origins, you have Silver Tempest, you have so many of these sets that no one realistically wanted in their time frame, right? If you go back into the day and age of when these specific sets were released, when these specific sets were, being massively produced or whatever the case may be, no one wanted them. And then now, fast forward to October 26th of 2025, people are scavenging for Fusion Strike. People are clawing for Lost Origin and these other sets that are boosting up in price because now they're inaccessible. So in this specific market, I think that this is like valuable. This is something that is heavily underappreciated. Obviously at $300 may have been a little bit high. Even then, still don't think it's that high. Obviously everyone's capital is different, but for someone who, at least in my stature, I feel like $250 for a booster box, that's pretty reasonable in my sense, especially with the quality of cards that come within that set. Thirdly, we have fourthly, my fault, because I was still on Surging Sparks, but the Gengar's Lost Origin Trainer Gallery. This card was at $653. I remember being at a card show and seeing this, or my fault, card store and seeing this card, and seeing it at $60, and I said, man, should I buy this card now? Because I holistically believed, and I still believe, that a $60 mark for that card is damn near reasonable, right? This is a card that so many people, one, beloved Pokemon Gengar. We have again the meme-ish or audience that it kind of gravitates toward, right? It kind of looks like Gengar's getting high, if I'm being honest. Looks like Gengar's getting, baked up with his team, his folks, and they about to make some lunch in the background, right? And again, it's just Gengar. And it being at 60, this would in a sense be a market crash for a specific product, not necessarily for the entirety of the market. We have the Gengar Sword and Shield Lost Origin Trainer Gallery card going from 55, I say 53. It says 53. 55 was realistically where you would see it like in card shows and stuff like that. People like to round up. 53, let's just do 55 times 0.5. We cut it in half, that's $27.50. 55 times 0.6, right? We're damn near at a 40% cut down of its original price. And you're telling me that a card that originally was at some point $50, people had seen the value at this. You're telling me that I can't reach there, if not surpass it? Honestly, I still believe this is a $60 card. If I see more of this card in the public, I'm gonna go out of my way to buy it. And this is what I want you guys to understand is that, again, these are corrective market behaviors. In order for something to go up past its original point and stay there, it must first correct itself and really, just that, it has to correct itself. So before, markets have seen fluctuations of growth, right? If we look at, let's see in a year tense, right? It's kind of harder to see it in, let me see if I can kind of see it on a smaller frame, right? Let me see, 3 month, 6 month. Okay, so cool. September 9th, we've had $37. October 12th, just recently, $38. So see, the market's fluctuating. It had a low, this was it rising up. It hit its peak. It then climbed down, kind of tried to jump up to that 38, dropping down some more. It has to retest these levels before it has that super huge spike, which I truthfully believe, and not necessarily just for this card, it's going to happen in this time frame, but for a lot of these products and a lot of these market crashed conspiracy theorists, I guess, out there, Christmas is literally around the corner. I think that the market is correcting itself to the point where once Christmas comes around, people are going to now have that influx of money. And you can look at it through history. Obviously, TCG Player isn't allowing me to do so. But if you can look at year in and year out from every single possible sealed product, I won't speak too much on single products because singles are a lot more volatile in that sense. But with sealed product at the beginning of January, end of December, February, they have their highest of highs in these time periods. Winter time, when everyone is literally inside, unable to do anything on the outside. This is when people, and again, obviously Christmas, you have your money. February, you're getting your your tax returns and things like that. January, you're spending the money you got from Christmas. This whole time frame, this whole bubble time frame is when a lot of prices start to really spike. Because again, everyone's inside, you have nothing better to do. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go online, start buying cards. You're gonna go to these card shows, start buying cards, and everyone's gonna just start comping with one another. Hey, this just sold for 70, I'm gonna sell it for 75. Hey, it just sold for 75, hey, I'm gonna sell it for 85, so on and so forth. So when it comes to these things, Mew Scarlet Violet promo card. This was an $85 or $74 card. And it's now hitting its low. And I just spoke about, and I'm so glad I didn't buy this the other day at the same card store I'm talking about, because I believe it was just so highly priced that it just had to crash soon. Again, I seen it at the card store for I think $70, and I was like, it's like $4 under what market actually is. But I believe this card will touch above $100. But why would I have spent it at 70 when now it's starting to correct itself? It may even correct itself all the way down to this point of 36. That's kind of like really hoping. I really feel like the lowest this card will touch is maybe 45 before it has like a recovery period where it kind of stabilizes at that 45 to 50, 60 range and then kind of shoots up past that to that 100 mark. But the Mew EX promo everyone so much loves is now at a market price of $54 from its $74 mark. Again, this isn't a technical market crash. Market crashes are when you go to Target, Walmart in these specific areas and you're seeing that Pokemon stuff is sitting. These are just corrective market behaviors. 74 times 0.8. This isn't even a 20% markdown from its original high. So this is just showing you guys these are valuable times to be buying into these things before the market starts to really go back into, and it's still in a bullish market trend. It's just more so it is in its stabilized pattern as of right now. We have the Mewtwo V-Star Crown Zenith, another beloved card in the recent couple of months. Again, these huge spikes. There's no, in any market, if something rushes from 123 all the way to damn near 210, 211, you're almost seeing 100% an increase. Or, so this is about a 41% increase from here, 41, 30, 41, 59. I'm over here, 59, 30. 59 plus 36. Come on, let me do some math. 59 plus 36. I don't know why I can't do that. Plus 36. It's damn near like a 95% increase in price. Almost 100% of what it originally was if you were to buy it at its all-time high in that specific time frame. So from 210 to 187, 210 times 0.9. That's probably, to 180. Yeah, that's like a 10% drop down from its original highest of high. And people are sitting here. You can look this up. People are on social media saying dump, sell everything. The market's crashing. Should you be buying? Like, I'm telling you, these are times where you should be buying. This is something, and again, during these panic moments when people are trying to get rid of things, 187, I can negotiate someone down to 170 if they're so look. Most recent sale is at 170. We can look at view more data. 170.99. That's a Japanese card, so don't count that one. But look at these people are panicking, letting things go for a fraction of what it actually is worth. We have the Magikarp, everyone's beloved Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. I remember just recently I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, my Magikarp finally hit an all-time high of $400. I'll say $400. $400 again. We're seeing massive climbs from a raw card, 196 going to 196 going to, I can't do math again. 290 right there, or 300. That's a 100% increase right there. And then from the 15th to only the 22nd to 20th time range, you're getting another $100 increase, which is about that's probably like a 50%. No, probably like, again, it's a massive increase. 50%. Yeah, look, we're getting 5281 from 5281 to 103. That's damn near another 50 plus increase on your investment, to now we're getting a slight decrease. So 103 to 400 to 364, 103 to 85 is about another 25ish to 28ish% decrease in its market price. That's not a market crash. A market crash is in essence, it has to, like, things across the board 50% or lower, 60%. Like, these are massive drops where people are explosively dumping their product out and at a huge fraction of the price. Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer Box. This is the one I wanted to end it on, so you guys can really get an understanding of what's going on and why I believe that this isn't a market crash, because the set that has been massively produced, still to this day, still being printed, still being pushed out to the public, still at these Costco's and things like that. The box is still hitting, I mean, I wouldn't say all-time highs, because I think one of the highs was like 150. Yeah, 150, but it's within the last 6 months in its current market right now, closing in on its all-time high and possibly going to surpass it. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a market crash. This is corrective market behavior. Look at across the board stocks, day trading, any other hot sneakers, real estate, freaking any possible thing that you can invest in. It's just things can't go up for the entirety of the market. They have to come down and correct themselves, test those levels of, I guess, interest in the actual product, single, raw, graded, right? Test these areas, and once it proves that these areas are valid, prices continually climb up, especially in areas of months where people then have an influx of extra money coming in. So to answer your question, basically, is this a market crash? No. Should you be buying? Yes. I think this is the perfect time to buy before prices just get a little bit more ridiculous, because we're stepping closer into the 30th anniversary of Pokemon. Again, in the market that we're in, with the amount of people that are now becoming aware of the Pokemon hobby, I don't think that you should waste your time in thinking that this is a market crash. You need to be making some educated decisions and start investing your money, especially when things are now touching into lows compared to when things are in a constant high. So with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Pokepal Chris here. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And it just lets me know, again, how much you guys love the content that I'm putting out. And Pokepal Chris, see you guys next week.